This is makeshift microphone at our best. Thank you for staying around for those that came here and didn't know that you were going to stay for a show. And thank you for everybody else that's going to weather the storm or the pre-storm, the calm of the storm, to come here for a cultured-free date night. My name's Chuck Beard. I'm with Metro Arts, and just super excited to start this new quarterly show with the exhibitions from downstairs, along with the Parthenon, Jennifer. She's going to speak a little bit more about it in a minute, and we're just going to have a current classics conversation with 3 local artists that do amazing things and inspire all of us, and get some of their impressions from visiting the exhibition downstairs that you all saw, but also sharing a lot of the work that they're doing right now and just different ideas of creativity. I'm really excited. This is a dynamic group. If you don't know any of these 3, you will in the next hour and leave amazed. So what we're going to do as we makeshift this through is I'm going to do introductions, the 3 introductions before we get into the conversation. And after each individual artist, we're going to show a video of their work. And then we're going to have Jennifer, the curator here at the Parthenon, talk about the exhibit downstairs. And then we're just going to have a conversation with questions with the artist. And then at the end of the hour, we are going to watch one of the artists up here in the middle and her dance team kind of show us what they do out there in front of the big statue as a grand finale. So first up is Asia Pyron. She's in the middle right here. Asia is a freelance choreographer and the director of Pi Dance. Asia is originally from Atlanta, Georgia, but received most of her early training at Interlochen Arts Academy in northern Michigan. After graduating from high school, Asia attended the Boston Conservatory at Berkeley, where she received her BFA in Contemporary Performance and Composition in 2020. These are long bios, by the way, but it tells like a tenth of their story, so let me get through these. During her time in Boston, she formed her dance collective Pi Dance and performed in local dance festivals such as Boston Contemporary Dance Festival, Onstage 360, and Boston Conservatory Winter Works concerts. Say that 3 times fast. Upon arriving in Nashville, Asia acknowledged the lack of professional dance opportunities and realized Nashville needed Pi Dance to help build a sustainable dance environment for the community. Pi Dance partners with local businesses and unconventional venues such as restaurants, museums, parks to bring dance to more diverse audiences such as yourself. Pi Dance has received grants and residencies such as the Brave New Works Lab with Oz Arts Nashville, the Metro Arts Thrive Program, South Arts Cross-Sector Impact Grant in partnership with Creative Parks Nashville, South Arts Express Grant in partnership with Kingling Arts Festival, and like 1,000 other things. With 11 organizational partnerships, weekly community dance classes, and 3 original productions, Pi Dance celebrates 5 years of bringing more professional employment and concert dance exposure to Nashville. And Asia has been commissioned as a guest artist at institutions and companies such as University of North Carolina School of the Arts, Boston Conservatory at Berkeley, Nolte Academy, Dance Lab New York, and Urbanity. Asia currently calls Nashville home as she continues to create work for Pi Dance and other dance organizations throughout the country. So here's a video of her work before you give her a big round of applause. So if you can share that, Katie.
My name is Asia Pyron, and I'm the director of Pi Dance. What really lights my fire in my work is involving pop culture and historic reference into my dancing, and that's how I'm able to cultivate movement to tell a story that people can digest and not only walk away with maybe some sort of knowledge from the historic reference, but can also walk away with an emotional attachment to the work as well. My Thrive Project Pool is a piece that commemorates the Centennial Arts Center for its past of being a segregated pool. Centennial Arts Center used to be Centennial Pool. When integration was actually implemented in America, instead of integrating people and integrating these pools, the Nashville City Council decided to close down all 22 public pools. And that really inspired me. I had already wanted to do a piece that was about systematic racism. I incorporated that into the story as well, into telling and kind of remembering that like racism is literally in the roots of America. And so Centennial Arts Center is literally the roots of Nashville, because we are literally dancing on the ground where segregation was alive. We are going to dance about why this is so significant. I feel, much closer to the Nashville community. I'm really excited to continue creating in Nashville, being supported. The Thrive Grant helps us bring communities together through art and helps us support one another, especially communities outside the Arts Center. Super thankful for the opportunity that Thrive has given me to establish myself here.
Big round of applause for Asia. This is not in an order of rank, by the way. They are all amazing. So I have to say this. The next up is Elisheba Mrozik. Elisheba Israel Mrozik, right here, is a fine artist and an international award-winning tattooist. She graduated from Memphis College of Art in 2006 with a BFA in computer arts. After moving to Nashville in 2007, she began working full-time as a freelance artist in graphic design, anime, and fine art. Elisheba was part of the Nashville Black Artist Renaissance, and she has shown at Columbia State, the Ha Factory, Boheme Collective, Cardiva, a gallery, Frist Art Museum, and many other venues. You've probably seen a lot of her work just anywhere in the city, and you probably don't know about it yet. She was a New York Comic-Con artist in 2010 and has created live murals at events with the band The Goo Goo Dolls in Buffalo, New York. Additionally, Elisheba has been in various music videos and commercials like Old Dominion, Budweiser, and Yellow Wolf. In late 2010, she became interested in tattooing after viewing work by some world-renowned artists. And in 2011, Elisheba started tattooing and opened One Drop Ink Tattoo Parlor and Gallery in Nashville. In 2019, she moved the shop to its current location in historic Fisk University. One Drop Inc. is an active member of the community, sponsoring charitable events, teaching classes, and supporting schools and other community building endeavors. The shop is also one of the founding members of the Jefferson Street Art Crawl and North Nashville Arts Coalition. I'm going to write a novel on these three later. Elisheba is now an award-winning tattoo artist in many categories, Indieville TV's 2015 Nashville Tattoo Artist of the Year, and was an artist on the international TV show you may have seen called Ink Master. She released her first coloring book in 2017 titled Notable Nashville, about historically marginalized people of Nashville, and released her second book, a collection of her drawings called Sovereign Goddess. Elisheba specializes in realism because, let's be honest, she's as real as you can get. She also specializes in watercolor and illustrative realism. Again, she's real. Her goals are to travel the world and create art with her family, and that's exactly what she does every day. She prides herself on working diligently to create art in art spaces for disenfranchised people, being a loving mother and a devoted wife every day. So this is a video that she shared.
I don't have any music.
Yeah, do you want to say what it's about? That's why you
So this is a recent mural. That was actually an old bio. I need to give you a new one. But I've been doing a whole lot of murals lately and a lot of public art and installation work. And this is part of a piece for Black country music. So this is celebrating a book that was written by Alice Randall, who talks about the originators of country music, who all happen to be Black. And it's really hard to see here, but Ray Charles was a very accomplished country musician, as well as Herb Jeffries and D. Ford Bailey. And on the other side, of course, we have Lil Hardin, who was a woman she was like the first highest selling country music record ever. And then our guy, I'm blanking out here. He's the one everybody actually knows. Charlie Pride on the other side. And all of these they call them the founding family of Black country music. And each of them played a huge role in Music City's founding as the country music capital of the world. And so that's the mural. It's over on, what is that street? Right next to Fort Nagley. Whatever that street name is, right next to Chestnut Street. And it was just completed in June of this year. And my most recent mural is at the bus station downtown, honoring Elizabeth Duff, who was the first woman bus driver in Nashville. And they just unveiled that 100-foot mural a week or so ago. So, thank you.
And last but not least, Princella Smith, sitting to my left. Princella is an Emmy-nominated director and award-winning screenwriter. It doesn't say it in here either, but I know she played Division I basketball as well, so just throwing that out there. Yeah, right? She's a baller. She formerly served as a political strategist in Washington, D.C. for a number of government officials, as well as a media commentator on various national news outlets. In 2016, Princella shifted her focus from politics to impacting culture through the arts by developing projects that unite Americans. We need more Princellas. She is the writer and director of Walk in the Light, an animated short film about a blind hero of the Oklahoma City bombing. The film is currently in circulation at film festivals and received financial support from the Arts and Business Council of Nashville, Arts Equity of Nashville, and Metro Arts Nashville. Princella is a creator and co-author of the Beauty for Ashes book series about survivors and first responders of the Oklahoma City bombing. Princella also penned an award-winning full-feature script about the event by the same name, and the project is currently in development. I get choked up about it. In 2019, she wrote, produced, and directed an Oklahoma City bombing-themed public service announcement titled The World Watched on behalf of Survive First, an organization promoting PTSD treatment and first responders. The PSA garnered a 2020 Boston New England Regional Emmy nomination and a Communicator Award of Distinction from the Academy of Interactive and Visual Arts. Princella graduated with a political science degree from Washita Baptist University, and studied counterterrorism and cybersecurity at Reichman University in Israel. She is brilliant. She resides in Nashville, Tennessee, and is a member of the entertainment committee for the Tennessee Performing Arts Center. And this is a trailer for the Walk in the Light. Yeah.
The Oklahoma City bombing was one of the darkest days in American history. But among this darkness was a flicker of light. A blind hero named Raymond Washburn, who rescued 5 people, including himself. This is his story.
So before we get into questions within this conversation, I want to go ahead and pass it to Jennifer to share what she has a microphone there, so we can we can talk about the gallery downstairs and then what you're excited about being here.
Yeah. So my name is Jennifer Richardson. I'm the curator here at the Parthenon, and I worked with David Gootnick to lay out the exhibit downstairs and create the text for it, and it's been something that we've really enjoyed having. This exhibit was part of a new process that we've started at the Parthenon, where we gathered community input, because we didn't want just one person choosing the exhibits at the Parthenon, and diversity is important to us. So we wanted our community to tell us what did they want to see, and they reviewed the proposals, and they really, really loved David's work. And we were able to see connections between the ancient form of Kumiko and values that ancient Greek artists also had too. So that's something that we're exploring in the exhibit.
Awesome. Well, that kind of sets the ground table. I'm just going to go ahead and jump right in. We can pass our microphones around. Behind us right now, you will see just different photographs. I think they may be in order of the artists that we introduced, but it's just going to be rotating of different artwork that they do and they've showcased as a backdrop, so you don't have to just like watch us talk the entire time, and to see their work visually. So, I just want to go ahead and jump right in, and the personal stuff of like just what was the first experience? Again, some people are artists in the crowd and some people aren't, but just from hearing people that are actual professional artists, what was the first experience you either made where you made art or knew that you had to make art going forward?
Hi. So I have been very much an artist from a very young age. When I was in kindergarten, my art teacher told my mom that she thought I had some talent and to start getting me classes. And so I began taking after school classes with my art teacher at elementary school. And my mom kept putting me in community art classes at Memphis College of Art, which was the local art college in Memphis, where I'm from. And I just kept going from there. How I knew that it was going to be the only thing that I did was in high school when I met my art teacher, Mr. Wilson. He was a black man, one of two black teachers that I ever had in art. And he was a phenomenal artist. I always wondered why he was in the school teaching. He was there for me, in my opinion, because he was really phenomenal. But seeing and hearing his story and working with him through my high school years and AP Art really made me say, I can only probably do this. I think in this way. You know, his story inspired me. He came from a different time and was not able to live his dream of being just a full-time artist, but was able to channel it into something else, which inspired me. But I knew that that was what I was going to be doing, was something creative.
Personally, for me, I've always been dancing since I was about 7 years old, but something that I did before dance was really choreograph, and I remember re-choreographing like High School Musical, like 1, 2, and 3, and I just was like seeing dance everywhere as more of a storytelling device rather than just for entertainment. And so even though I did go through intense training in ballet and contemporary, and initially after graduating college with a BFA in dance, I thought that I was going to join a company and live in New York and do the dancer life there. But I soon realized that, one, New York is not the city for me. And two, that I really wanted to start a company rather than be in someone else's work. I'd rather just start doing my own work, which is usually not very common, especially for somebody younger and then somebody who also hasn't necessarily started their professional dance career right away. And so I came to Nashville for a dance intensive with New Dialect, another contemporary dance company here in Nashville. And I had an amazing time there, and I also just was so in love with how welcoming the Nashville dance community was and how diverse it was in terms of ages and gender, and it just felt like it wasn't as competitive as I'm very much used to being from art institutions. And I really enjoyed it, and I enjoyed that there was space for more dance and more dance companies rather than us fighting for space or fighting for spotlight or attention or funding. And so it was really amazing to come to Nashville, take a whim, and decided to establish my dance company here. And actually the dance studios right across the park down there at Centennial Performing Arts Studios is our home for the last 4 years. They provided my company free dance space for the last 4 years. They've been amazing partners and have really partnered with me to build a more sustainable platform for other working dancers to come here and live here and thrive in their art.
You just hold it.
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
Can y'all hear me in the back? You can? Okay. So our voices are carrying back there? Okay. So first of all, I need to thank Asia. So I met Asia in the Arts and Business Council Periscope. It was a arts and entrepreneurship program. And when I met Asia, she told me about various arts funding sources. And I ended up getting a really nice amount of money, a nice push right there at the end to complete that film. And I would not have gotten it if it weren't for Asia. So I just wanted to thank her. And then I'm impressed with both of these ladies. Elisheba, I didn't know you had been on Ink Masters, but yeah, like I had a friend on there. So like that's a big deal. In case y'all didn't know, like that's a big deal. So my inspiration on art is kind of like follow the rabbit trail. When I was a little girl, my mom and dad taught me about words early, so I learned how to write early. And my dad's a preacher, and so I watched him talk. And then my mom was an English teacher, so she taught us how to speak. And I had a very influential second grade teacher, Miss Barbara Patton, and she encouraged us to write in our journals. And she would come back to me and say, "Princella, I like what you wrote. I like your story. And that was the first time I thought, I can write. I can write stories. So I ended up writing scripts and doing that. And then on the production side, working in politics, they quickly put me on communications. They said, you're going to be good at that. And so everything from helping to shoot campaign videos and everything. And so I learned really quickly, voters respond to stories. They don't want to be spoken at. Like, they want to feel like they're a part of the story. So I kind of threaded it all together. And then how I ended up on this movie was I had a political radio show, and this lady came on my show, and she wanted to push her book about losing her 2 grandsons in the bombing. And when she pushed the book, long story short, it just kind of flipped into me wanting to tell stories of inspirational stories of people who survived the bombing and who saved people. In this instance, it's a blind Native American man named Raymond Washburn. His tribe was called the Yuchi tribe, and they're children of the sun. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me, children of the sun, and he's blind, and illuminating the way. So I just wrote the script and got to work. And like I said, shout out to Asia for helping me get the remaining of the funds.
I'm just really grateful to hear like 3 positive stories, and especially 2 like education experiences, because I've run into some artists that like have been fueled by the opposite, and that kind of leads. I mean, either way, whatever fuels you for the positive, right? But the other part of this question that I want to throw is like, it's all fun and games when everything is going well, but like once you realize like you had to make art or you wanted to make art, when was the first time? I just want each of you to talk about this for a second. Like, when was the first time that you faced adversity with making or sharing art, whatever that means to you, and pressed on to where that project got to where you thought it needed to be?
The entirety of my art career has all started with people telling me no. That after high school, and I went to Memphis College of Art, and I didn't understand the art game. I didn't know that it was Monopoly. And so when I left college, I sent out applications and just took kind of the first job, and that's how I ended up in Nashville. And it was just a regular job. I was assistant manager for a video game store. I'm a gamer. And when I got here, I started trying to find galleries and, do the art thing, and stores were just so closed. And so I just started kind of reaching out into people I met and just telling people I do art. I can paint anything. I can draw anything. It doesn't matter what type of art it is. I can do it. And putting ads on Craigslist, all kind of stuff. And I would get jobs. But I'm going to skip forward because the biggest challenge that I think I faced was in tattooing. When I first got into tattooing, the first thing I noticed was that there was no black artists, there was no dark skin on any of the images, but there were some amazing things happening in the tattoo industry. A lot of art that was outside of what you traditionally call a tattoo, barbed wire and praying hands and traditional kind of tattoo work. And I was never interested in that. So when I came to see the realism and the oil painting and classical artworks that were being done on skin, I really got interested. And when I went to try to find an apprenticeship, nobody would even talk to me. They wouldn't look at my work. They wouldn't do anything. And it was just a door closed. And in Tennessee, you have to be apprenticed to get your license. And I am a person that likes to learn. I don't want to struggle extra if I don't have to. I want to learn from somebody who knows what they're doing. And so I had to kind of circumnavigate the rules, and people in the industry here really were trying to stop me from being able to open my own shop. They would spread negative things and leave bad reviews and try to stop me from getting licensed. And it was really like my first, I've experienced racism, I've experienced things, but that was like my first really targeted, we don't want you. We don't want you here. We don't want you a part of this. You can't be here. We run this. And so being able to circumnavigate around their attempts to stop me from just learning how to tattoo, y'all. That's it. Really was a really tough challenge, but once it happened, I started my tattoo shop, and it's been 13 years now. So I'm the first licensed black tattooer here, and we're the first black tattoo shop, which is really weird because it's like 2011, not anything earlier. So, yeah.
Well, my answer is a little bit shorter, just because when you're a filmmaker, by far your biggest challenges are being told no, like whether it's by trying to get a bigger name actress or actor, or whether it's funding for your project. Like, that is, raising money for a movie is so hard. Like, I cannot. I have done a lot of hard things. I lived in Israel when rockets were flying over our head, and I was studying counterterrorism, and raising money for this film was harder than that. Like, seriously, because you're breaking through the mental barrier of like, oh, they don't believe in me. Like, they don't think I can do this, because if they did, they would invest this money, right? And it wasn't something I was used to, because I played ball and I was good at that. I was good at school. I've been told I was good at things my whole life, and I got to this, and I was like, couldn't raise the money. So I would say that was the biggest challenge. And, anybody out there interested in film, I would just say you just gotta believe beyond believing, and keep working and get grants and whatever, and just do as many examples of what you can to get out there and kind of prove the opposite.
Yeah, absolutely. Even as personally as like a dancer, obviously, there's a lot of pathways that people think are the right way or the wrong way. And a lot of people are even trying to decide exactly what dancers do and what our jobs are and our roles are in society. And that alone is really hard to prove, and feeling the need that, in my opinion, dancers are a minority of the arts in general. There tends to be way more visual artists, way more writers, way more something else. And dancers are kind of sometimes thought as the last to get the funding, the last to get the proper time to prepare for things. Even the Country Music Awards is something that, like dancers, Olympics, we fight to get paid for. A Super Bowl, we fight to get paid for. And so it's very interesting, as I run my own dance company, and I am responsible for how I support my own dancers, knowing that they are themselves individual artists that deserve what they've been working for pretty much all their lives. And as I become a leader, not only for my company but for the dance community in general, I really have put more pressure to advocate for exactly what we need, and to not shy away from standard necessities. And without a human resources department, and without all the funding to make sure that we have that support, you'd be really surprised on all the situations that dancers, or the unfortunate situations that dancers can get in. And so definitely in Nashville, it's been really eye-opening, and it's been amazing to kind of be able to work with people that actually understand that, and at least meet you halfway, and you're not really just seen with just a kind of foot in the face and shut down completely. And I also feel like the other dancers in this community are all on board on being extremely, or making ourselves a priority when it comes to what people ask of us, and for them to truly understand the capacity of what it takes to bring and do what we do.
Yeah, I'm going to pass it over to Jennifer and say a question or two about the exhibit downstairs, and you have the questions here. So
I have the questions. Yes. I just want to take a moment to say I'm so thrilled that you all are here, because so many times people think of museums as almost like these boxes of dead things, dead artists, history that's gone. And the Parthenon does, we have elements of that surrounding us right now, but we're also a living and vibrant place for the community and the artists alive now. So thank you so much for being a part of this and being here. I wanted to ask you, since becoming a curator, when I go through exhibits, I notice all kinds of things I never noticed before, and I experience museums differently, and I even experience film and dance and music and murals differently. So I was wondering if you all notice that you experience art different than any of your friends who maybe aren't artists.
Yes, absolutely. And my phone is proof of that, because even it'll be so random. I'll see a random thing and I'm just like, wow, that could be in a painting, or like Kumiko, for example, is also something that I have a history with. I went to Japan as a foreign exchange student in high school, and I was able to experience, traditional Japanese arts firsthand. And I've always just marveled at the delicate perfection. And when I tattoo, like, I try to keep that mindset, because in my non-tattoo art, I am not careful at all. I am not perfect and straight in line. So I know that when my friends or my husband even sees the stuff, he's like, oh, that's cool, blah, blah. And I'm just like, no, don't you see this? Don't you see how that interprets to this and that? And I can talk about it for hours, and I'm the person that'll go to the museum when it opens and go on the day where they're open late, so I can stay longer and read all of the things and interact with all of the artwork.
I definitely think that it's really interesting too. I think, even to take it into art in general and just museums, like a lot of times my family will come to one of my dance shows. If anybody's gone to a concert dance show, you're definitely gonna have a moment where you're like, what is this? Like, what's happening? Why are they moving like that? I don't get it. And kind of like even just knowing or having that thought that you think that people are initially going to think that, and almost like filtering it so that you just expect it. It was really interesting when I do take my family and my boyfriend to these dance shows, and they're all like, I really enjoyed this just because of the ambiguity or the anonymous feeling of it all. And then they're kind of just watching them dig deeper into it. And I also just learned like the patience of art. Not every time is it going to be looking at it once and taking away so much, which is something that I feel like other artists can do. We can really soak in a lot, but really allowing, especially like seeing the patience of my family support me as an artist and experiencing so much art doing that, it's been amazing kind of seeing how they've evolved and how they've been able to take an art in their own way and not feeling they have to meet me at my level, obviously, with everything that I've seen. And so
yes, I definitely look at art differently. I'll just make another film reference since I'm the filmmaker. When I watch a movie, I am thinking about like the lines, the writing. I'm thinking about, was this actor given the proper lines to deliver? Like, do y'all ever watch a movie and you're like, it's really good actors in it, but you're like, man, this story is janky, or it's not fun. And I always feel bad for the actor, because a lot of times they'll say, oh, this is a terrible movie by Margot Robbie, and I'm sitting there going, it's not Margot, it's the lines. She has a horrible script. This script is terrible, and she got paid, so she did it, and she actually made it better than another actress would have made it, right? So when I watch a movie, I'm looking at that stuff, and I'm the nerd that stays to the end and looks at the credits, because I want to know who did the sound editing, who did, like, there's so much that goes into a movie. We just look at the Marvel explosions, but like somebody did sound editing, somebody edited, somebody did the score, somebody did. So I definitely, like, my mind is like somewhere else when I'm looking at art. So yes, for sure.
Wonderful. And I'd love to know what each of you found maybe most interesting or memorable, or what touched you from the current exhibit.
Somebody else pick it up.
You're first up. It was really beautiful. Actually, all of my dancers and I took some time in the gallery this past weekend, and we just really talked about the patterns and how they resemble the Parthenon, actually, and just even looking at the vents and the way that the ceiling is, and just it was so cool to see almost like a miniature version of it, and to just see how much depth there was in there. I thought it was like, just sometimes like a perfect gallery to meet with the Parthenon, and just seeing, even playing with the puzzles and seeing what forms. A lot of times in dance, that's kind of how it feels like as well. Like, we don't have glue to make things really stick all the time. And even in this performance that we'll go see at the end, we're in improv, and so not everything is going to be perfect, but the idea of things looking complicated, but when you kind of take a wider aspect, there's actually a lot going on there. And so it was just really awesome to take them all there and kind of see the physical side of it as well and the visual side of it. And so really amazing work, and I think it's a perfect fit to the Parthenon. Now you gotta go last.
Okay, she's gonna go last time. Yes, it's a beautiful exhibit. I'm all about color, so I like the splash of the burgundy and the purple that he used in the color. But one thing about, like, I was looking about Japanese artists, and they, in order to keep their art relevant, first, the themes of nature are generally in it. So, like, I noticed he used, like, some flower themes. But then also, they incorporate other aspects of other culture, like, in their art to keep it moving forward. And I really enjoyed, I mean, she kind of took my answer, but I read it, and they were like, he didn't use any glue. And I'm like, how'd you do that? Because that's not my form of art. But just knowing how hard it is to get something perfected, just the straight of the lines, the integration of the color, the splash of color. That's even how I dress. It'll be like black and a splash of color. So I definitely enjoyed it, and like I said, read about who he was influenced by and how it was multicultural. And if you haven't seen it, definitely go by and take a look at it.
So I really, this was a good exhibit for me, one, because I love Japanese art so much, and a lot of it made me think of Frank Lloyd Wright and his work architecturally, how he was influenced by Japanese culture. And one of my favorite pieces of his is Falling Water, which I got to visit once, and I always love the Japanese elements and the line work. So I thought about that a lot, because it really resembles his windows when he did his windows in his houses. But I really just, again, marvel at that clean cut perfection. And it looks simple because it's lines, but it's so complicated. I have people who will come to me and want a geometric tattoo, and they're like, well, it shouldn't be that much because it's just lines. It's just lines. Do you know how hard it is to draw a straight line on a round body part? I don't think you know, but it's way more difficult than some of the giant color pieces that I do. So I am always just in awe of people who can pull off those really perfect looking, clean things. And I strive for, but never reach.
I love how you said the geometric thing too, because when I went through it, I thought of Coach Border's sophomore year geometry class where we had to do art on a board and nails and yarn, and it just threw me right back into that. Of it ain't simple, but it is beautiful if you do it right? But we're gonna one more question, and we're gonna get to the performance and close this out so people can actually talk to y'all if they want to and learn more. But I just want to go one more round of just asking each artist to talk more in detail about what you're currently working on and what's making you happy regarding your favorite medium that you're showcasing.
Which one? Me? I'll go. Okay, so next Thursday, a week from today, October 3rd, at the Scarrett Bennett Center, you guys can come see this film. I would love for you to be out there. I'd be honored if you come see it. It is going to be showcased at the International Black Film Festival. Again, it's called Walk in the Light. I've even got the shirt on. This is the symbol of the Yuchi tribe. Like I said, the hero of the movie, his name's Raymond Washburn. He worked on the 4th floor. Some of y'all are old enough to remember the Oklahoma City bombing. You remember that was a federal building. It was 9 floors. He worked on the 4th floor. So he worked in the snack bar, and everybody came to him for their food. So of the 168 people who died in that bombing, Raymond knew about 100 of them. And then Timothy McVeigh, you may remember, was the terrorist who set the bomb off. Raymond actually testified, he witnessed the trial, and he witnessed the execution. So this man was really the bombing, everything. But it's an inspirational story. It's uplifting. I think we need it right now in a very polarized political time in America. So I took my terrorism experience, political experience, and art experience to tell a story to remind us that we're all humans. We're all Americans at the end of the day. And what was so beautiful about that day is nobody was, it's kind of funny when tragedy happens, nobody's black or white or Native American. It was just help get out the building, help everybody get out, rescue people. And unfortunately people died, but it's a beautiful story. I did work very hard, but Tennessee artists are all the actors except like 2 of them. Tennessee actors, the great Michael W. Smith, his son, Tyler Michael Smith, did the score, he did the music, and then I used Tennessee Studios, everything. So if you guys want to come out next Thursday, Scarrett Bennett Center, you can actually go to my website, walkinthelightfilm.com, and get tickets there. But I would love to see y'all out there supporting the film and at the film festival. Did I plug it hard enough? Okay.
Yeah, right now, Pi Dance, we are just currently trying to gain nonprofit organization status to kind of uplift us to the next level of being a company. Right now, we have about 3 original productions that we built, about an hour long each. And so we just had a huge season being a part of the Kindling Fest and Oz Arts, Brave New Works. And so right now we are on a little bit of an administration zone, trying to get this funding and get the support for our next couple of shows. But definitely you can follow us on Instagram at _PiDance_. You can also check us out on our website, pidance.online, for any upcoming shows or classes as well. Oh, sorry. You need to go.
So Chuck will tell you that I am a whirlwind. So I'll start with what's coming up first. I'm also the president of the North Nashville Arts Coalition, which supports Black creatives in North Nashville, providing them resources and support to equitably thrive. And we are hosting our annual North Nashville Culture Crawl, which is a weekend, October 18th, 19th, and 20th, of community, creativity, and culture. It's got free shuttle service and over 30 art and creative activations and performances up and down Jefferson Street, Buchanan Street, and 100 Taylor in Germantown. It's absolutely free. There are a few events within that may have a fee, but you can find out more about that at northarts.org. And the purpose of this festival is to, shed light on what North Nashville really is. It's one of the last parts of Nashville that's been underfunded and neglected in all of its growth, and it's had a lot of bad press on it, but it's the home of 3 HBCUs, historically black colleges and universities, some of the first in America, and it has been the site of major work within the civil rights movement and other major movements in American history. And there's a lot of creatives. There's over 90 black-owned businesses, which is more than any other street in the country, Jefferson Street. And there's just a lot of history there. And where Music City started was Jefferson Street. So please come out to that event. On my own personal work, I am about to start a project with Metro Arts on the Luby Library in partnership with Creative Girls Rock to honor Z. Alexander Luby, whose home was bombed, and he was a civil rights attorney that worked to desegregate Nashville schools. He tried to stop Interstate 40 from coming through, and he did a lot of other work, and it's honoring him, his wife, as well as about 8 other black legal and political people in Nashville who helped us through the civil rights movement. And it's about 100 foot long and 20 foot tall, and it'll be going up in the spring. So please stay on the lookout for that. You can follow me on social media at Queen BEEINK. I have a bunch of other stuff coming up next year, so just follow me online.
Do we know what episode and season, Ink Master, we need to look at on Hulu or something?
Season 8, if you want to see it. They did me dirty, y'all. But it's reality TV.
One quick round of applause for all these females up here, these artists as well. And also just want to say, again, thank you for all your coming. It's not finished yet, but also thank you to Jennifer and Katie and the Parthenon staff for giving a green light to giving this space some life and with the artists and just the collaboration. It's been phenomenal since the beginning, and we're going to do more. And tonight's been great, and it's not finished. Like I said, I will say I'm going to pass the mic to Asia to introduce, and then let her lead and be the Pied Piper out here. We have to be out of here before 7, like 6:50.
At 7.
At 7, the door's shut. So you can come back in here for a minute after this performance, but
or you can go down
go
and
to
see
the exhibit. Yes, or you can go down and see the exhibit. But it reminded me today when I was thinking about Asia introducing this and seeing her work. If you've never seen her work, she used to work at Metro Arts for a little bit, and one of the other coworkers, communications manager at the time, Darren, came up to me and she was like, have you ever seen, she'd been working with Asia and doing social media and communications, but she was like, have you ever seen Asia's work? Like, she may be a genius, like, in her choreography. So, like, I'm real excited for you to see this in the next room. I just want to give them that mic to you and tell them and where you want them to stand and where we go in there. So go ahead.
Absolutely, y'all. So my company is just outside on the other door next to Athena God. And so we were just going to do a small performance as part of the funding that Metro Arts that we received. And we performed this at Centennial Arts Center about 2 years ago. And so if you want to come out around, and you guys can sit anywhere you like, either on the sides of the stage or the ends. And the show, small little dance excerpt will play right when you're done sitting down and getting relaxed. Meet you guys in there.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you're the first to know about all the exciting things happening at the Nashville Parthenon.